like almost all other people, you probably know what kind of star sign you have. You probably know whether you are Sagittarius, Cancer, or Aries. But the question is, why do you know that? Are there any valid information about your personality? Or does it help you to know of other people what kind of star sign they have? Maybe it helps you to find the right partner of your life because you might have, according to the stars, matching personalities. But does it really work? Is astrology a real science? I mean, in 2012, about 42% of US citizens said, well, yes, it is somewhat a science. But is it? Fortunately, with the methods of statistics and psychology, it's actually quite easy to test the hypothesis of astrology. So take a look, for example, at a study by Steyn, published in 2011, in which he gathered with personality questionnaires the personalities of more than 65,000 people. And then he just had to correlate their personality assessments with personality assessments based on their star sign. And the results were really fascinating because it could be shown that it didn't work at all. It really did not work. The astrological judgments of personality did not match the real personalities of the people. So really quite disappointing. And maybe now you might say, well, but I've read my horoscope so many times and I really had the impression that what was said in this horoscope really matched my personality. So how can this be? How can there be no information at all? And I mean, so many people believe in it. Why on earth does it not work? The answer is the so-called Barnum effect, which means that we tend to believe very vague and very general statements about ourselves, which is very common when it comes to horoscopes. So for example, take a look at the following text and just imagine this would be your horoscope and this would be a description of your personality. You have a need for other people to like and admire you, and yet you tend to be critical of yourself. While you have some personality weaknesses, you are generally able to compensate for them. You have considerable unused capacity that you have not turned to your advantage. Disciplined and self-controlled on the outside, you tend to be worrisome and insecure on the inside. At times, you have serious doubts as to whether you have made the right decision or done the right thing. And if you just take this last sentence, at times you have doubts whether you made the right decision or whether you did the right thing. Of course, this is something that applies to everybody. Everybody sometimes has doubts whether he did the right thing. And therefore, if you give a text like this to many people, most of them will say, well, yes, this was a really good and specific description of my personality. But what about the prediction of love matches? What about the prediction that certain star signs really fit together much better than others? Maybe there is some truth in it. One of the best studies about this topic was conducted by Helgertz and Scott in 2020 when they analyzed the data of about 65,000 married couples in Sweden. And it is really great that this study was conducted in Sweden because the belief in astrology in Sweden is quite weak. So Swedish people are not convinced that you should search your partner based on your star signs. And therefore the danger of confounding the results with a self-fulfilling prophecy, because for example, a Sagittarius man might say, well, I only want a Aries woman because of the prediction of astrology. This danger was very small in Sweden because they don't believe in it. And what the scientists were looking for in the data was whether the predicted couples from astrology, because astrology says, for example, that a Sagittarius man like me would really well fit to a Aries woman. They were looking whether these predictions could be found in the marital unions. So were there, for example, more Sagittarius men married to Aries women? Because astrology predicts that these really fit very good together. And they found this was not the case at all. And they also did not find that the predicted dream couples from astrology, like Sagittarius and Aries, got divorced more seldom. Because if they match so perfectly, you would expect, well, probably the divorce rates among those perfect matches should be much lower. But this again was not the case. So the conclusion is, even though so many people are still believing in astrology today, and I really get it because it is such a romantic thought that you might find your dream partner based on the stars and that it's your fate to find this partner. Even though so many people still believe in it today, the evidence really is not there. And even astrologists agree on their judgments only to about 1%. So even astrologists are not quite sure how to interpret the stars. And therefore, of course, it's not really recommended to, for example, choose your partner based on such astrological predictions or judgments, because in a worst case scenario, you might reject your perfect match, or you might get rejected from your perfect match because he or she says, oh no, a Scorpion, or oh no, a Cancer. The stars tell me I cannot be with you. And I think actually this is quite unromantic. That's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to like and share this video. And if you want, we will see you next time.